Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I would love for you to put in the chat or to say out loud what you love or don't love about gardening. What are some of the problems with gardening or the present day food supply, and what do you actually love about the idea of gardening? I would love to hear that before we get started. So if you guys want to say it out loud, Doug, I know you love fresh produce. That's my
I
husband.
was just gonna say, I love being able to just grab food right off of it. I hate the time it takes to grow traditionally. It just takes so much time and attention, and I feel like it feels like a lot of work. But I love that in the way you're going to show, Sharon. It's not. It's so different.
I love that the odds of success are so much better with the tower garden than any time that I grew in soil. I've done both. I love them both, but this is just amazing.
And I love to hear that from a healthy living chef, because
Yeah.
we know
So,
that you're using the gardening greens and all that stuff.
yep. Wait till you see. I'm now at my tower, so I can.
Oh, good.
Uh,
Well,
I might
we'll
actually
go to
log in
you.
from a
We're going
different.
to show towers in a little while, but I wanted to
Great.
go back to that very first slide that I had on here, and tell you who we are. We are the Juice Plus company, and the company is all about getting more nutrients in our bodies every day. It's a battle, for us to get enough fruits and vegetables in our body every day and enough plants to be healthy. So we have the fruits, vegetables, berries, micronutrients in capsule or chewable form. We have a plant-based omega, we have plant-based shakes and bars. And we were always doing presentations talking about eat more fruits and vegetables and try to look at labels and things and try not to have genetically modified and things like that, and herbicides, pesticides. And then the tower garden came along and we're like, oh, this is the perfect solution where we can have fruits and vegetables that are healthier and herbs. So the tower garden is what we're going to talk about in a little while. But you heard a little bit about our present day problems with the food supply or just with gardening. Gardening, you have to really, it's kind of like having a child or a dog. You have to really be on top of things, right? So some of our present day problems are genetically modified organisms, pesticides, cost, right? It costs so much more to have food that's unadulterated or organic. And so those are some of the problems besides transportation. Transportation means that they are transported like 2 weeks from either another country or all the way across the nation. And what happens is they're picked early, so you're not getting the nutrients that would get there at the very end of ripening, which is best. So that's why Tower Garden is so cool. You don't have to go out and pick it right away, or even when it's ripe. It just sits there in the water and air and the flowing nutrients, and it waits for you to actually be ready for it, which I like, because when I go to the store and I'm like, oh, I think I'll have some cilantro and jalapeno and oh, these apples look good and these grapes, and I go crazy at the store. And then the next day I don't eat all that, or the next day or the next day. The Tower Garden keeps everything very fresh. It's not rotting in your refrigerator, and it tastes so good. Well, let's look at the Tower Garden and why it's an awesome way to grow. It is vertical, so that means it goes up and down, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's hydroponic and aeroponic, meaning it uses water and air, just like a golf course aerates their golf course so that it gets air down to the roots and makes it stronger. Same with the Tower Garden. And you can grow almost any vegetable, herb, flower, many fruits, just not trees and root vegetables. Those are the two categories. It conserves water. And so somebody asked me today, I travel a lot, is it very high maintenance? No, because you plug it in and it does all the work. I love that. I would not be able to garden otherwise. And it requires very little space. Tim Blank invented the Tower Garden, and he is the founder of it. And he used to work at Epcot as the chief horticulturist. So he really designed it for residential use because everyone was touring the land at Epcot and saying, I want one of these. And so he created that for us. And so let's look at how it actually works. Sorry, guys. Oh boy, I didn't like that. There we go.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better-tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your tower garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
Isn't that awesome? I love it, love it, love it. And the nutrients were also invented by Tim Blank, who wanted to make sure it was safe for human nutrition. So really cool. And it's in the media, at homeless shelters, at the concourse at O'Hare Airport, and all different news articles like this one in Better Homes and Gardens. And it's really the wave of the future of growing to not take up as much room, to be able to conserve water, the way we water our lawns and everything. You know, it takes a lot of water. This doesn't take hardly any water. It just continues to recycle. And so, you know, we have had the type of garden on the left, which is still fun. But we love tower gardening because just a 3 square foot area will be equal to like an 8 by 10 plot. And you don't have to get your fingernails all dirty, and there's less bugs. And if there are bugs, you can see them very clearly against the white part of the tower garden. It's pretty cool. And it brings joy. I love this picture of my friend, Alexandra. She probably doesn't even know she's on my presentation, but this is how it feels when you go out to the tower garden and you come back in with a bunch of lettuce. You're like, oh, this is so awesome to have your own little farmer's market. And schools are enjoying it. If you know people who would enjoy having it in a school or have connections to teachers and principals, this is a fun way for kids to learn, and also for them to kind of compare even to a dirt garden and have fun. These kids named their tower gardens, so that was fun. And it was actually a memorial garden for someone. And it comes ready to grow. It has all the supplies, whether it's the Tower Garden Home, which is the indoor model and has less presence. I don't know what the other word is for it, but it's 2 feet square, the one on the left, and made for bringing into the home, and it's 13 gallons of water and nutrients. And the Flex is 20 gallons, and you know, you could use it indoors or out, both of them. But the Flex on the right was the original one, and it comes with the tonic, the pH solution, just to make sure that your pH is not too high or low, the growing system, the pump, the timer, things like that. Oh, I guess I didn't cover this. I love this picture because these are 2 little girls that are really excited about growing their little seedlings, and it is really fun. And you receive a seedling starter kit with the Tower Garden, and you can also buy seeds anywhere. You could buy them at Home Depot, Whole Foods, online, all types of different places to get started and just grow what you love. You know, different people grow different things, which we're going to see in a second. I'm going to pass up Sandy because we've got some live people on here. And we'll start with Doug. Doug and I love growing the Tower Garden, and you're going to see ours. And he's going to
All right.
He's gonna talk for a second, and just know that I'm gonna just finish this. It's about $55 a month for the Flex for 12 months, and $85 for the Tower Garden Home. Okay, go ahead, Dougie.
Okay, and the cool thing about that Tower Garden being $55 a month, that's for 12 months. It's like a no interest loan, basically. And so you pay for your tower for 12 months, and then boom, it's, there's no more payment on it. Well, look at these towers. These are ours. Where are they? How do I turn this around? Oh, there it is. Okay, so this Tower Garden was bought 12 years ago. So if you're worried about, oh no, it costs $55 a month. No, don't worry about it. 12 years later, it's good to go. All right. I love growing lettuce greens. When's the last time you saw a lettuce like this at the grocery store? Now, not only is this an amazing lettuce, I can grow purple, I can grow green, different varieties of lettuce. Here's some collard greens.
Dougie,
But
do you
check
have your
this out.
Wi-Fi on?
Breaking up.
A little bit, just warbly. Not too bad. Just checking.
And now it's off. Is this better?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So the cool thing about this is when you go to eat your lettuce, you don't just grab this like at the grocery store. You actually pull off what you want. So if I harvest a few from the back here, and then I make a small salad with it, well, I still have this thing and it's still growing. So it's like each head of lettuce gives you way more than you would get in a regular store. So I grow a lot of lettuce. Here's collard greens, kind of get ready for some Taco Tuesdays, vegan style, with some wraps. You can see I got my next babies in. I've learned how to plan this a little bit. So every 3 or 4 weeks, I plant new babies. Then I got even more new babies coming in. And this time I got some mint going on this one, parsley, kale, tomatoes. I'm trying to squeeze some tomatoes in before it gets too cold. And then I got some baby tomatoes growing. Good. Look at this. I
Show
grew
us
this
your
for Sharon.
baby.
This is first time trying celery. What?
Yeah, show us your baby tomatoes.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's a tomato. I think I might be wrong. Unless I did get these seeds. I thought I got them from Italy.
Oh, yeah, you said
And they're
San
San
Marzano.
Marzanos
Yeah.
for making sauce. But this looks more like a cucumber or something. So we'll see.
Oh. Hmm.
It's always an adventure out here. So I want to show you one more thing. Here's a tarragon. I use this in salad dressings and such. And this is kind of the funny stuff that happens on Tower Garden. Tarragon's not really supposed to do this. I don't know why. It has almost like these dead stalks here, but then, boom, the tarragon's still growing on the end. So I just keep it going like long hair hanging down. So why not? It's so much fun and it works great. Oh, basil. Just put that in your marinara sauce, Sharon.
Oh, I love the basil. That's my
So
favorite.
good.
Marinara or pesto pizza, or what is it called when you do the tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil?
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
they do make tomato cages because when these get real bushy, they're going to need some support. But I like to grow them a little further out. So I have these stakes that I put in the ground, planting for my 3 or 4 tomato plants. I'm going to fill these up. Another thing you can do is train them to grow up into the air, if you can hang them from something. And I want to tell you guys, I just real quick, I know I'm going a little long, Sharon, but last night I went to a University of Florida. Now in Florida, University of Florida is like the agriculture school. So they have all these offices in every county of the state. Excuse me. So I went out to a hydroponic workshop and I saw 5 different ways to do hydroponics, which none of which were exactly the Tower Garden. There was something kind of similar, but it's all like homemade. It looks like imagine building your own car. Okay, so building your own car, I don't want to do that. I want the Mercedes or a good solid Ford American car right here. So I was appalled at how like just dirty, and it reminded me of gardening in the ground. So I realized I'd forgotten how much cleaner and nicer it is with a Tower Garden. It's just like it just really works great. It stays clean, it's easy, and we love it. Back to you, Sharon.
Thank you. Love it, love it. Nina, go ahead. Show us your goods.
All right. I got to figure out how to switch my camera though. That's the only thing. Hmm. Okay, that looks like my camera's going. All right. So first of all, hi everyone. I'm super excited. I always am, but look, right now it just so happens that I have, let me try and not give you guys motion sickness this way. Okay. I have some little sprouts going. And there we go. All right. So first of all, I used to get really careful about what I planted and keeping track of everything. I don't even care anymore. I didn't label any of these just because I grow what I like. So, when it grows big enough to harvest, like everything else you're going to look at, I'll know what it is. I mean, I know how to tell just from the leaves. So I don't even care. Like, I'm so carefree with this thing. So let me step back a little bit so you can see. Sorry, the rest of my workroom is a little chaotic, but my tower garden is a pride and joy of mine. So I have all sorts of different types of kale growing. I have a lot of the dark leafy cruciferous greens. So not only kale, and not only collards, some of each here, and I've got chard down there, the green with the yellow rib in it. But I want to show you guys something else. I know I'm supposed to. So yeah, so this is all just like one big experiment for me. So I'm learning as I go, even all this time later. So I decided this time to grow Brussels sprouts. These leaves, yeah, there we go. These leaves, I haven't yet learned how to make the sprouts like, curl into the head. But the leaves are the same leaves that would go into the little head of Brussels sprouts. So I just cook the leaves. They taste like Brussels sprouts. They're amazing. And in some ways, I actually like it better because typically, whenever I get Brussels sprouts out at restaurants, I'm always frustrated that the inside is never really cooked enough. So this way, by just cooking the leaves, I don't have to deal with any of that. So I have all sorts of kale. I've got a few empty ports that I'm in the middle of adding these new seedlings in. I'm just doing a little trial and error. I have one cannabis plant growing there. Maybe you guys can see. I don't know that it's doing great things. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I'm just trying it out. I always have a few ports that I'm willing to just fiddle with. Another thing that's my pride and joy is parsley. I can never keep enough parsley. And by the way, I've been traveling. So somebody had earlier mentioned that they didn't know what would happen when they travel. This is what happens when you travel. You come home and you have a lot of food ready to go. It's that simple.
I love that.
I fill it up. I fill up my tower. I always make sure that I fill it either the morning I leave or the night before. I'm really not a morning person. So by the time I need to leave, I usually just have to run out the door. So the night before, I fill up with all fresh water, all fresh minerals. I check the pH. And then I come back and sometimes I have to clean up, like there's that little one yellowish leaf back there, right there. So when I come back, I have to go through and kind of pick out the occasional leaf that yellowed, and it's probably because it didn't get enough light because there were other greens in the way. But yeah, I mean, I have basil, I have mint. I actually have beet greens growing here. They're doing really well. I don't know that I'll ever get a beet out of there, and I don't know that I care to, especially because I don't want to risk hurting the tower, but I'm really happy with the beet greens. And beets are so high in nitrous oxide, which are like every system in our body needs, that I love just throwing a few of those beet greens right into my smoothies. But also, kale, collards, any of these greens. I'll sometimes make like a whole mess of greens. Anyway, I was just going to tell you what else I have in here. I have chives going. I have mint. I have dill, chard. Let's see what else here. Basil. I usually have arugula. My last arugula bolted while I was traveling. So I took it out, and that's what some of the seedlings are. I love arugula enough that I think I'm going to wind up with 3 different ports filled with arugula. But anyway, I think that's pretty much
Wow.
everything that I have growing in here.
I
And I
mean,
have 2 other towers that I'm setting up
do?
also. Yeah, I have a total of 3. This is my one that's the home, and the other 2 are flexes.
Okay.
You know, I know it's been a year since I moved here, but I'm still not really settled, and I haven't done all the things. And part of the all the things means setting up my other 2 towers.
Wow. Well, this was amazing, Nina. I know I speak for
Yeah.
everyone else. That's all the different green cruciferous plants, I think. And
Correct. It's all the healthy stuff.
it's pretty darn amazing. Okay, we're gonna go to Michelle, who's gonna be outside. Let's see if she made it out there. Thank you, Nina. Yep, she did make it out there.
Actually, just before you,
I'm here.
Okay.
So let me see. Okay. So here's my tower garden. I'm in front of my house. It doesn't look the best because I was traveling too. And I'm so scared that Doug's going to kill me because look what happened to my lettuce. I've been eating it, but it bolted.
Come
Doug.
on, Michelle.
I know, it's only because I traveled. I was planning to eat it and then I had to leave town that same day. I couldn't believe it. And I was sitting there thinking about it, but I've been eating from it. It's not bitter yet. So I just had it with a salmon burger for lunch. I had like lettuce on there. It still tastes amazing. I have rosemary growing. I have basil. That basil, oh my gosh, the flavor. I discovered while I was away, I now have, let me go on the other side, a pepper. I was like, there was no pepper there before, but now there's a whole pepper.
Well, it's a good thing we had you come out and check your tower garden.
I know. My other, Doug is going to kill me because this red one, I don't know what happened to it, but it's not looking super amazing, but it's still edible. I'm sorry I neglected that, Dougie.
Maybe
I
the
have never-
hurricane. Michelle, you did have a hurricane.
You did have a
Yeah,
hurricane.
well, I was chasing the hurricane, so that was even crazier about that. But here goes marigolds, which I like to have growing because they deter the bugs. You know, I'm outside, so I want to make sure I'm deterring as many bugs as possible. And then, guys, I have scallions, which you know what happens with this? I actually just reuse the scallions I get from the grocery store. The base, I just plant it in the rock wall, and then it grows amazing on the tower. And I mean, it grows super duper fast. So I have like 3 scallions growing on here. Then I have collards, which I am not using, but I need to. And then right beneath it, I have kale. And then I'm growing tomatoes towards the back, but they're like, it's a baby. They haven't flowered or anything yet. Oh, I see little flower buds. There's one tiny little flower bud right now. You see it?
Yeah.
So
It's always
things
a
are
nice
happening.
surprise.
It doesn't look super amazing like it did like a week ago. It was perfect. And now look what happened so quickly. But that's the beauty of the tower. Everything grows so fast. You better start. You're going to be eating a lot because it's just ready in no time. It's pretty amazing.
Awesome. And Nina has lots of good advice for cooking your greens when they do go a little bitter, and also
wow.
letting your plants go to seeds so that you can then use the seeds for next planting. So, yeah.
So smart. Yeah. I'm
All
going
right,
to
we're
check
going
that
to
out.
go to Sony, and she's going to show us her indoor tower. Thank you, Michelle.
All right, let me do the flippy switchy myself. There we go. All right, so this was seed 3 weeks ago. I just looked it up. I confirmed it was
Wow.
September 13th. And actually, it was September 13th when I planted everything from here down. All of this was planted a week later. So this is our baby
Oh my
green,
goodness.
right?
And those are microgreens, right? That's good you have that to show.
Exactly. So those are baby greens, microgreens, whatever you call them. They're all the same, right? So these are chard, these are broccoli, these are just what they call a mild microgreen mix. Actually, excuse me, that's the spicy. Here's my mild. Oh no, right? Like Nina said, we're just carefree and having fun. I'm going to replant those. It'll be no problem. All right. So, you know, don't worry about it. If a couple plants go by the wayside, if a bunch go by the wayside, it's no big deal. You just keep playing and experimenting. These guys got planted a couple weeks ago. I'm wanting to get an outdoor tower set up, and those are going to go out there. So that's like squash. You can see it's already got tons of buds ready to pop, and cucumbers. This is some peppers, some tomatoes over here. So
Tony, tell us how you do your seeds and your rock wool. For people
yeah,
who don't know.
absolutely. So here's some rock wool right here. Actually
How
have a little
convenient.
bit.
Thank you.
Right? How convenient. Okay. And so I pop those into I take a big Tupperware bowl and I soak them for about 30 minutes or so. And then I just pop the seeds straight in there. And then on top of that, I put what we call vermiculite. And all of this comes with your tower garden setup. I actually, this time my experiment was just putting them straight in the tower, which that's exactly what I did. So all of these just went straight into my tower. And I do have a box fan over here, keeping the air moving around. So just something to be aware of is that it is helpful to kind of keep the air. You can see these plants are kind of dancing in the breeze created from that fan. It helps to strengthen the plants. So I love that. Michelle, you mentioned you were traveling. I also was traveling. I don't know what I was doing, but I was in Florida and then extended my stay for the hurricane. Yeah, anyhow, came back and this is how everything looked. The water was getting low, so I just filled it right back up once I got here, and all has been fantastic. There was a point where we had a power outage here because we had a storm pop up that just took our transformer out nearby. It was out for a few hours. It was no big deal. I didn't even, you know, some people will pour water from the top and let it run down, but I didn't even need to do that. Everything was just fine. So.
Looks great, Sony. Thank you. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording just for the sake of time on this video, but you guys can stick around for questions that you want to ask of each other. And so for anyone who's watching the recording, please get back with the person who sent it to you for any additional questions or clarification or to get started. That would be the best move. All right. Thanks, guys.